Hello, dear Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I'm going to do a combined tarot reading, energy reading, with a little bit of astrology for the month of June 2023. So, the first thing I want to note is that Jupiter has entered the sign of Taurus on May 15th of 2023. At the same time, we have Saturn in Pisces. For Taurus, Jupiter is sitting in your first house at the moment, and Saturn in Pisces is sitting in your 11th house. The first house is the house of self and the house of presenting yourself to others, how you come across others, but mainly the house of individuality in the self. So in this case, Taurus, you the next year and a half, it's going to be a lot about yourself, expanding yourself in a psychological way or physical way. Now, Taurus, they are very prone to enjoying food and enjoying good things in life. So there is a possibility that if they don't watch their lifestyle habits or the dietary routine, there could be an expansion of the literal sense of the aspect, or there could be an expansion in terms of getting pregnant and increasing fertility in women. This is a good time to expand the horizon of the mind and to make healthy and positive and optimistic lifestyle changes to yourself, and to focus on yourself, on what you want to implement in your life to become ultimately the best version of yourself. You may end up looking younger, being more, having more energy, looking, generally looking more young or having more energy to ultimately pursue what you want to pursue. So basically, here you're expanding your horizon in the terms of the mind, the body, and the spirit, and you're going to see that you're going to have a lot of lucky circumstances that sometimes you're going to wonder. You're not going to expect them to happen so quickly, because at the same time we have Uranus and we have the North Node, and we had a new moon in Taurus that was falling into your first house, and there's a lot going on, a lot of changes for Taurus. In this case, I would say a lot of karmic stuff and a lot of stuff to do with the planet Uranus, which brings to a lot of unexpected changes. And I do expect, I do keep hearing and seeing a pregnancy that's possible, or getting a very, very good offer that could just increase your overall levels of happiness. Now, for Virgo, we have a very interesting thing going on. We have Saturn in Pisces sitting in your seventh house of open enemies, of relationships, of business relationship, and marriage, and everything else. So, for Virgo, there could be something, some limitations or some obstacles happening in the house of interpersonal relationships, like whether or yourself wanting more commitment from your partner, wanting to settle down. In this case, there, if you're already married, if you're in a marriage, Virgo, there could be strains and frustrations and limitation within your married life, something that makes you question, should I still be in this marriage? Is this marriage really working out? What's going on? Why do I not feel the same way I felt before? Or in this case, if you have been in a long-term relationship, now it's kind of time to tie the knot. If you're thinking about it, now you have to be very careful that you don't come across a lot of enemies at this time, and not to basically say the wrong thing to gain more enemies, or to put yourself in dangerous situation when it comes to others. And also you have to be careful. You could solidify relationships with others, in terms of a business deal, or your colleagues. You could build very stable long-term relationships with your colleagues as well, but also there is a tendency to um, for Saturn to sort of restrict that area of your life or make it more serious. For Taurus as well, I wanted to mention that Saturn will be sitting in their 11th house of their social circle. So either they could be meeting a mentor or a teacher in their life that could really make them work on their own personality or psychology, or it could act as a restricting force into your friend circle, minimizing your friend circle. But remember, it's all about quantity over quality. For Capricorn, Jupiter in Taurus is going to be sitting in your fifth house of self expression, creativity, children, of your attention, of your flings and romances. So, as I said in the Jupiter in Taurus video, I am expecting Capricorns to have a lot of fun in the next 3 years. And I'm expecting them to really, really have a lot of flings or romances, or if they're thinking about having children, this is a great time for them to expand their family because Jupiter will expand. And this is also a good time to maybe if you have been pursuing music or writing or something like that, or creating something with your hands, this is an excellent time to really have fun. I think Capricorns are gonna have the most fun of all, and definitely to come across a lot of romances. But these romances, the fifth house, I personally don't really find the fifth house to be like, they could be soulmates, but just because someone is a soulmate doesn't mean that they're meant to stay in our life forever. So it could be like very short flings or romances that happen, or sexual encounters, because the fifth house is also the house of kind of recreational sex, so to speak. So there could be a lot of activity surrounding that. At the same time, we have Saturn in the third house for Capricorns. So there is, you will have to really solidify your ideas, the way you communicate to others, the way maybe you have been too harsh, maybe you have been too insensitive, maybe you're looking to learn something new so you can later use it in your business. You can also look into going back to college, or learning something new that really, you do have that focus right now, and you have what it takes to build up on your communication and to definitely pursue subjects of learning and gathering knowledge. But in doing so, you have to be really careful because Saturn is still in Pisces, that you don't lose focus while you do these things, because there's a high possibility of you just like something really clouding your mind at the moment because you're having maybe so much fun. So something like that. So anyway, let's see what the tarot cards say. So the first card that I have drawn is the Knight of Wands upright. So this is someone who embodies the energy, and a very adventurous, energetic, revolutionary kind of energy. You see this knight on his horse and he's venturing onto an adventure. He's traveling, he's moving somewhere. He's like chasing success. He's into that very hot-tempered kind of risk taking, very, very confident pursue for something. So, right now, this embodied energy will be representing the month of June. So, whether you're venturing on a new business idea, you're chasing a job, you're looking to get a new job, maybe you're not happy in your current position, and this is like you have the right confidence to chase that success at the moment. Whatever pursuit you go for, I can't say it's going to be successful, but there's definitely the right energy for you to pursue that. But also, there's a tendency with this card to be a bit too hasty. Maybe I don't know if taking risks is something that you earn signs would be doing generally. And I know that you don't like doing it, but sometimes we have to be a bit brave and take that risk and move on and do something different. Because especially with Taurus and with I find not with Virgos as much, more with Capricorns. They kind of like being comfortable. They kind of like living in the same place for a long time. They're very tied to their homes, to their families. So sometimes doing something very different, doesn't come as easily as naturally to them. But sometimes this is exactly what they need. You actually might meet a person that embodies the quality of the Knight of Wands. And in particular, you might get involved with a person who either embodies the qualities of the fire signs And those are Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. So either embodies that energy, or either is that's their zodiac sign or their rising sign. For example, they could have an Aries rising or a Sagittarius rising, or like a very prominent or embody the energy of a fire sign. This person is very passionate. I mean, this is the kind of person that kind of comes very suddenly. It sweeps you off your feet, but it kind of it just passes through, you know. It's not, I don't see this as an ideal energy to settle down with, but maybe you just need that fun, and you need someone who is very spontaneous and who is very a bit random, and who has that energy to kind of push you forward to move on with your energy as well. This is definitely the time to kind of embody that energy as well. If you have been stagnant, like I know that Taurus, they find it extremely hard to have these like big lifestyle changes. It takes them ages to decide something. They just need to have a lot of financial security to even make a move. You know, they need to feel like they are well established before they make a decision. But once they do, they are very good at pursuing that decision. Now, with Virgos, that might come more easily because Virgos are a lot, you know, their natural ruler is actually Mercury. So Mercury is always like making them think a lot, and they can never really find mental peace because they're always so obsessed with thinking all the time, thinking about how I'm going to solve problem A to Z. So they're constantly in their minds. So this is also for Virgos, it's a good time to kind of be a bit more spontaneous. As not everything is as perfect as you picture it to be. Sometimes you just have to loosen up a bit little. You have to have a bit of fun, and sometimes you have to take a few risks. But there's something here that's being showed. It's you're dealing with a person that embodies that. But then strangely enough, I get the Knight of Cups reversed. Now, this is very interesting because either whatever you're trying to pursue or you're trying to venture in, it's like you're either emotionally not mature for it yet, or you're being deceived or you're being manipulated by someone who it's a person that has holds a lot of masculine energy. I would not recommend it's could be a person that, for example, is very emotionally immature, it's not very balanced, it has a lot of ups and downs, maybe suffers from like a mental condition affecting their emotion, the likes of like bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder or any of those things. I wouldn't recommend getting involved with this person, whoever this person is, and whatever this person tells you. If it's basically if it's someone who tells you what you want to hear, know that there's a chance, high possibility of this person basically being an emotional con man or a con woman. Obviously, depending on who you're dealing with at the moment. But you have to be very careful not to venture taking risks with this person, because I feel like this person isn't 100% honest, or if this person embodies your own energy, now you're not in the right state of mind to really make these like big changes. The energy is there, but sometimes we lack the emotional maturity to be able to handle certain emotions or handle certain events in our life, and they could be very overwhelming right now, especially to do with this person that you think you can trust. But I wouldn't be 100% of it if someone's love bombing you. If you're single, for example, and you just met someone who's very energetic, enthusiastic, or whatever, just be careful that this person doesn't just tell you what you want to hear and give you all the attention, and then you realize everything has been but a lie. So in this case, also, I wanted to point out about health with the King of Cups. Definitely to watch overeating or overindulging or doing something too much. The likes of substance abuse, the likes of just generally overdoing something that really shouldn't and will not be good for June. In terms of love, it's if you're in a relationship, it's almost like you feel And I feel that for Virgos for a reason, and I might actually feel that. So definitely for Virgos and definitely even for Capricorns, that there's a person out there who's just very emotionally mature. And it's if you're involved with this person, it's like they're not giving you the treatment that you deserve. They're being very unemotional or very uncaring or just thinking about themselves, and it's making you a bit frustrated. Or it's yourself that you just can't, you don't know where to place your head anymore. You're confused, you're a bit disappointed, and you feel like you can't really give that emotion and that caring feeling to another person because of how hurt you've been in the past. So there is some emotional issue going on here. For like creative pursuits, there could be the feeling of feeling very tired or having like an emotional block right now, not connecting you to your spirituality or intuition or your creative self-expression. But this is more to do with the first beginning of June, that you just will have to deal with this person. And I hope this makes sense, whoever this person is. It's just like a person that you will have to deal with for the first, I'd say, 2 3 weeks of June, that is not very honest and is kind of cold and calculating, and maybe could be a boss in your workplace. It could be like a person of authority or someone who's just not very emotional or who's not very honest with you. I feel it has a lot to do with work, but also I feel like it's a new person in your life, like a romantic partner. Just to be careful in that department. At the same time, I feel that you're stressing a lot about your work. You're stressing a lot about money. I do understand that right now we are still into a recession, so money might be tight. But don't worry, because you got the World card at the end. So this is at the end of June. So once you're done dealing with this very strange, flaky person, there's going to be the World card. So it's basically you're going to have a lot of opportunities, whether on the work field or in your interpersonal relationship field. And it's going to definitely get better by the end of June. And it's definitely going to open up a whole lot of opportunities and possibilities for you. It's basically like the world is open for you. It does bring wholeness, a sense of belonging to the world that you live in and to the things that you want to commit yourself to. It's almost here I keep hearing it's almost like you need to find your place in the world, like you need to be incorporated into that feeling of having a home and being in your home, and if you can establish yourself within that feeling, if this makes sense, then you're going to feel really complete, and you're going to feel very successful, and you're definitely going to feel achieved in what you do. But you just have to be really careful not to be dealing with dishonest people, like flaky people and people who kind of take you for granted a little bit. Or you have to also be careful to be in the right headspace yourself, so you don't end up hurting others in the process. So this is it for the month of June, and I hope you like this video.